to my channel. Yes, so I have been cleaning off my shelf, practicing shelf control, figuring out what's gonna stay, what's gonna go. I read a couple of books recently. I'm gonna tell you about those. Yeah, let's get into it. I want to tell you about this book. This is a book that's currently on my shelf, and I want to recommend it to you all for spooky season. It's been a long time since I read this book, Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. I know that this is a well-known author, and when I tell you that this book is crazy. So I want to recommend this for spooky season because I read this book decades ago, and it was just that it made just that much of an impression on me. Sure, it's spooky, but when I tell you it was good, it was really good. I don't remember if it was like nasty or like disgusting and also scary, but it's short stories, so it probably was all of the above. And yeah, I just want to give you all a quick spooky season recommendation because this was a good ass book. Haunted is a novel made up of 23 horrifying, hilarious, and stomach-churning stories. They're told by people who have answered an ad for a writer's retreat and unwittingly joined a survivor-like scenario where the host withholds heat, power, and food. As the storytellers grow more desperate, their tales become more extreme, and they ruthlessly plot to make themselves the hero of the reality show that will surely be made from their plight. This is one of the most disturbing and outrageous books you'll ever read. One that could only come from the mind of this guy. That's a keeper on my shelf. Speaking of which, that leads right into the books that I read recently. I read You Are Fatally Invited and 9 Lives, which You Are Fatally Invited is about a writer's retreat. So that's why reading that reminded me of it. But I like You Are Fatally Invited. It was a cute book. What was so cool is because it was a writer's retreat, they had excerpts but the host's book was about like how to write, and so they had excerpts from that book in this book, which was fascinating. And so I'm gonna read you some of these quotes that I just loved and really appreciated. It really made the book more fun. And also I wanted to say about these two books, they're of the same vein of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. That's like a trope, I guess, because I thought it was odd that two books with the same trope came up in my recommendations. But I read them both. They were different. But if you have never read Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, there's a movie. So I remember seeing the movie. I remember that it was an amazing story. The book was, before my time. The movie is before my time. It's very old work, but it's like canon in the world of writers. And Then There Were None. Try to find a copy of the old school movie, if you can, or find a copy of the book if you can. It's really old. But anyway, check out these quotes. I was like, okay, they writing. Sometimes the art of fiction isn't in how intellectual it is, but how well it makes you actually forget the world around you. Sometimes binge reading to escape reality can save a person's life. I thought that was a dope quote. Had to write it down. Seemed very pertinent as well. Another quote is, a fact over-sharpened often function like a lie. That, I was like, hit me in the face. Fact over-sharpened often function like a lie. I was like, that's deep. I'm gonna write that down. This book had a little bilingual writing in it. I found that to be interesting and not used to that. I appreciate the multiple voice actors in the audiobook because it was a book that had different POVs. So I appreciated the voice actors in the audiobook. I was like, well, dang, this is a lot like watching a movie. I'll talk about that later. Books that should have been movies. I just thought it felt very this is interesting. But I appreciated it because then I could tell the difference between the ladies. I could tell the difference between the men who, because a lot of POVs usually just take me out of a story. It's too much. I don't really like it very much. Let me come back because this is getting long. All right, just to wrap that last little bit up. Okay, this was I really appreciate this book. Like, You Are Fatally Invited is the name of the book. It's about a writer's retreat. All these writers are gathered to this mansion. They happen to be horror writers. Well, they get to the writing retreat and start to disappear. The writers start to disappear. and yes, chaos ensues. But there's a couple of, there's conversations about writing amongst the writers and betwixt the chapters that I really appreciated. So look, here's 2 more quotes and then I'm done. One of the authors was talking about why he wrote how he wrote his best-selling novel. And he said it was a kid's idea. Him as a child, it was a kid's idea. I couldn't get out of my head. And I felt like that was profound. I just wanted to write that down because if you have an idea that you can't get out of your head, it just will not go away. That's what you should write about. You need to do something about it. You need to do something creative to give that idea legs and arms, and so it can just stretch and grow and become something else. That is exactly why you write a book. And in the book, it became a best-selling novel. So that was a gem. And the last gem, and I was like, okay, it was a good book. Interesting. It was an interesting book. It was good. I mean, I'm always going to describe a book as like a good time. Because if I'm not having a good time or if I'm not like enthralled, I'm DNFing it. So you'll see. Some authors taking pen to paper is saying, I will not be silenced. A beautiful tool for confession. The only way we can live with ourselves. So that is an excerpt called Why Authors Write. Taking pen to paper is saying you will not be silenced. A beautiful tool for confession. The only way we can live with ourselves. That was just deep to me. It definitely begs the question of like, what is our relationship to what we end up writing? Do we need it? I think we do. Okay, I have like 2 more things and then I'm really gonna stop. I haven't read this. My cousin gave me this. And I think that she got this in college. This was on one of her syllabuses in college. So this is Uncle Tom or New Negro. And it is African Americans reflect on Booker T. Washington and up from slavery 100 years later. I'm definitely keeping this. I'm about to read it because how about we tag another 100 years on here? When was this made? Because look, up from slavery I think would have been like, is that in the 20s? So when is 100 years later? Is this I feel like this is the 80s. Tag another 30 years on there. This is 2006. Tag another. Okay, we need a new one that says the same thing 120 years later, because we need to reflect on what Booker T. Washington was trying to do with Up From Slavery and his movement. And this book also contains the complete text of Up From Slavery. So yes, another reference novel. I'm going to put it with my references. That's definitely another keeper. with the references. And check this out. The World of Black Singles. So this is, my mom gave me this, and I hope this is good. It looks like another reference book, but I still might read it. But someone wrote a book about being single and black. It's probably some psychology stuff. One more again. Before the Mayflower by Lerone Bennet Jr. is a staple in every black household I've been in. I will be keeping this. It's gonna go on the shelf as like a reference book. And, you know, I probably will read it, but it is very hefty. At over, well, this is like reference, what is this in the back? It's like annexes, and what is it? Addendums? I don't know, whatever. I forget what they're called. But it's like the bibliography. There's a timeline in here. Is all of this before the Mayflower? No, it's not. This is a long timeline. Okay, well, the text is like 400 pages. It's 440 pages. But all of this back here is like, it's like where the appendices. That's the word I was looking for. All of this is appendices. So, yeah, anyway, I will be keeping this one. I will not be keeping Little Men. Little Woman was really good. I loved that book. And somewhere along the way, I picked up Little Men, but no, I'm not gonna. At this big age, I'm not gonna read Little Men. That's gonna go in a free little library. This Jailbreak Out of History. I don't know where this book came from. We'll give it a shot. I kind of feel a way about the title. The Re-Biography of Harriet Tubman and the Evil of Female Loaferism. I will go on a rampage and try to find out who gave me this book or why I have this book. And I will give that person an earful if I ever figure it out. If I don't like this. If I don't like what's being said in this book. And I'll DNF it. Hey! Ficciones. So, I'm going to keep this book. I just saw someone talking about Jorge Luis Borges on his YouTube channel. I have to look back. I'm not sure who that guy was. It was just a random video. But I thought of this book because I was like, oh, I have a book of his that has just been sitting on my shelf for years, you know, kind of collecting dust. But the way he spoke about Borges as if he was a very important voice. And so I'm going to give this another shot. And check this out. Look at this homemade bookmark that's in here. Lee Thompson Younger, Jet Jackson, Silverstone. I was very much in love with Lee Thompson Younger. Rest in peace. But yeah, if that's not a sign that I need to give this book a shot, I don't know what is. Rest in peace, Lee Thompson Younger. The next book is Why Sargasso Sea. I'm also going to keep this. I heard a couple people talking about how much they love this book or how fascinating it was. And in the videos I've seen of people mentioning this book recently, I found out that it's from the perspective of a character in Jane Eyre. And I think I might have known that. And it's probably why I still have this book. Because when I gave it a try in high school, like, it didn't work out. This is a holdover from a high school syllabus. But I loved Jane Eyre, okay? Jane Eyre is like this thick, and I could not put Jane Eyre down when I was a child reading that book. Someday I'll read it again, but Jane Eyre was my jam. So I'm gonna give this a try again. I know it's like a very tangential character, but when I tell you I love Jane Eyre, I'm gonna see what I can do with it. And they said nice things about this book as well, so I'm gonna try. This one, I don't know, it's called Heat and Dust by Ruth Prawar Jhabvala. And I'm not sure if I mean, this had to be on a syllabus. I feel like I remember seeing it on a syllabus. I'm not sure which syllabus I saw it on, but I'm gonna give it a try. Okay, because the other video had cut off, but what I read on the back was set in colonial India in 1923, Heat and Dust tells the story of Olivia, a beautiful English woman suffocated by social constraints and by her troubled marriage to Douglas, a prominent civil servant. Drawn under the spell of the Nawab, a minor Indian prince, Olivia flees her ennui by spending her days in his palace. Her escape, however, is short-lived. She is soon faced with a wrenching dilemma, and her difficult choice humiliates her husband and outrages the community. So I was like, whoa, that sounds super freaking juicy. Didn't expect that. So I'm gonna give this a try. Those are the books. Little man is gonna go in a little library, and I'll see if I can record another stack for you, because there's a lot more where these came from. Those are, it's not a haul. It's like, this is my shelf control episode 1. And yeah, I'll be back with episode 2. Give me a couple days. I'll get a new stack of books ready for you all. Happy reading. This is so cute. The comeback. Looks kind of good. Every time I go on vacation, someone dies. It seems like a good one. What the Dog Knows. This is my edition. Little Men. I'm gonna leave that one there. Stones for Ibarra. Okay. There's a Daniel Patterson in here, but I think I'm gonna leave these. Bud, not Buddy. I think I'm gonna leave these because there's nothing in here that is screaming, take me, take me. And I don't necessarily want to just take something to be taking it. Yeah, so I don't want to just pick up something from the little free library just to be doing it. I'm not trying to just exchange. I'm trying to keep books that I'm going to read or I want to read that's not just going to sit on the shelf. So this is the portion that I'm working on. I love my bookshelf. Let me show you all this bookshelf. I know, it's a mess. I put this bookshelf together myself. Well, probably with the help of my son. But no, I remember it was like mostly myself. I love this bookshelf, and it's got a bunch of stuff on it. But yeah, I want to keep the books that I want and get rid of the stuff that I'm not ever gonna bother with. Yeah, so this is the little corner right here. You can see underneath it. Like, okay, a lot of this in here on this shelf are business books, business, real estate, money books. So a lot of that is going too. Like, I'm broke, I'm gonna stay broke. But I just want to show you up here. This is the shelf I was working on. And back there, you'll see there's a copy of The Odyssey and The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And Beloved is that first book this way. So I didn't talk about those. But yeah, they're not going anywhere. I haven't read The Odyssey, but I'm like, oh, one day. I feel like one day, maybe. And then there's another book up here I want to mention, A People's History of the United States. This is also something that's like in every in every collection. Yeah, one day I would like to read that too. So that's that corner for now. I've got a long way to go. Tune in. Let me know in the comments, have you read these books? Do you have copies of these books? Are you DNFing them? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Tell me all about the books or anything else you noticed and have to say about my collection. Be nice. Tell me in the comments. Happy reading.